Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching me from. I hope you guys are enjoying your Saturday. Today is July the 15th, 2023. This is 8:28 a.m. my own time. How are you guys doing? I'm doing a shout out to everybody, my fans in Africa, Asia, Europe, all right, North America. I'm saying good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are watching me from. Today is another day of a live broadcast. I'm going to be discussing worst and best food or drinks for diabetics. All right. This is the question that I've been getting every time. Most questions I get daily, people are asking me what are the best food for diabetics or what should they avoid. So I'm going to be discussing two topics today. So I'm going to start with this, and then at least I'm going to spend about an hour on this, and then the next hour on another topic. So it's going to be two in one today. All right. So that is it. I'm going to wait for um, for the my fans to come online. Please indicate where you are watching me from. Indicate where you are watching me from, your name, and I appreciate you know I appreciate everything you guys are doing. Okay, so I appreciate everything you guys are doing. How are you guys? How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? All right. How are you guys doing? So I'm waiting for everybody to come online, and then we start our topic. So today's topic is worst and best food or drink for diabetics. Okay, so that is today's topic that I'm going to be discussing: worst and best food or drink for diabetics. In the meantime, please, Beverly, good morning. Good morning. How are you doing? How are you doing? I'm waiting for let more people come online, and then we'll start. Okay. Yeah, so today I'm going to be discussing about worst and best food for diabetics. Is what I'll be discussing today. Worst and best food for diabetics. Because that is the question that I've been getting all along. And so I have to keep repeating, reproducing this topic. Meanwhile, if you guys have anybody that has any question, feel free to ask any question while I'm waiting for people to come online. All right. So I hope you guys are enjoying your weekends. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekends. All right, Beverly, do you have any question before I get into today's program? As I said, I'll be discussing two topics today. I'll spend 1 hour in discussing about this particular topic, the best and worst food for diabetics, if you're diabetics, and in the next hour, I'm going to be discussing about what is called diabetic coma. People that have diabetics tend to go into coma. So I'm going to discuss that one in the second hour of the program. So I'm going to spend 1 hour on each of them to cover both. All right. So that is it. Now, what we all know the role that foods play in our lives. Okay, we all know the roles that food plays in our life. Now, if you're a diabetic, it is a different thing entirely. If you're a diabetic, it is a different thing entirely because now you have to be cautious on what you eat. A lot of things are going to be going through your mind. Should I eat this? Should I avoid this? What is the carbohydrate content? So, as I said to you guys, even if the food that you're about to eat says it has zero sugar, still you are not out of the wood yet. It might say zero sugar in the labeling, then look at the carbohydrate content and look at per serving. Okay, so even though it says zero sugar, does not mean you are now free to consume it. No, you also have to be cautious of the carbohydrate, because the more carbohydrate you take, it's going to convert it to glucose in your body and then dump it to your bloodstream. That is also going to spike up your sugar level. So you have to be cautious of the content of the carbohydrate and then the per serving. Okay, we all know that most food can be part of your diet. All right, I posted something here. Let me go. Let me read it out to you guys. Most food can be part of your diet when you have diabetics, but eating, certain types while limiting others may help support healthy blood glucose levels and reduce the chance of other chronic illness. So you have to be cautious of all this. Okay, most food can be part of your diet when you have diabetics. Not all food, most food can be part of your diet when you have diabetics. That is why you have to be conscious that it is not all food that you have to eat. But eating certain types while limiting others may help support your healthy blood glucose level and reduce the chance of other chronic illness. So not all food that you are that's going to be part of your diet, okay, when you have diabetes. Even though you are eating certain types of food, you have to also limit other type of food in so that you'll be able to have a good blood glucose levels that's going to reduce the chances of you having other complications. All right. So you have to understand that so certain food and drink can raise. We all know that there are certain food that you can eat that can raise your blood glucose level and your insulin levels, okay, and promote inflammations. Remember, you have to avoid inflammations. The more your sugar level rises and your insulin level rises, you are inviting inflammation, okay? Those inflammation can trigger other complications in your body. So certain food and drinks can spike up your sugar level and at the same time your insulin. That might, cause some inflammations in your system. All right. So you have to understand that those effects can increase your risk of prediabetes and diabetes. And I've told you guys the difference between prediabetics and diabetics. Okay, even if you're not diabetics, but you constantly watch your sugar level, you might be lucky to cut off your sugar. When your sugar level is in the borderline, then you can do something about it to reverse it back. But once it crosses that borderline, and then you are declared diabetics, you cannot reverse it back anymore. You have to live and manage with it. So that is why you've got to be very cautious of what you eat. Okay, you got to be very cautious of what you eat. So that is it. All right. So pre-diabetics and diabetes can increase your risk of other chronic conditions. We all know that the prediabetes and diabetes can increase other chronic conditions. Okay, once you have diabetics or you have prediabetes, if you are likely to find that you are prediabetics, then that is when you start working to reverse it back. But once it crosses that threshold line and then you are not declared diabetics, then there's nothing you can do anymore. The only two things you have to do is you have to live with it and you have to manage it. Now, this tendency of you being a diabetes can trigger other complications that might have you to have other chronic illnesses like high blood pressure, your cholesterol issue, a heart disease. Okay, so these are certain things you have to try, tend to avoid. So let's uh, let's see. So now the food and drinks you eat can do two things. As a diabetic, the food and drink you eat can do two things. It's either it helps to, keep your sugar level normal without affecting it, or it's going to spike up your sugar level. Once you're diabetic, you're going to be conscious of spiking up your sugar level. So the kinds of food and drinks you consume can help keep your blood glucose level in their target range. There are certain food you're going to eat, it doesn't affect the target range of your sugar level. Okay. And there are certain food you're going to eat or drink that is going to change the target range of sugar level. It's either it is high or it is low. So the kinds of food and drinks you consume can help to keep your glucose level to a target range. Okay. So you have to follow your dietitian or your doctor um, instructions. Those kinds of food they ask you to avoid, you have to avoid them. Okay. The kinds of food they ask you to avoid is what you have to avoid. I'm going to let me put something here. Um, I'm going to write some. I want to post something for you guys here. I want to post something for you guys here to read. So just give me a minute. I want to put something for you guys here. Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I want to put something for you guys so that okay. So, prediabetics and diabetics can increase your risk of other chronic conditions like heart disease, kidney disease, blindness, or amputations. Okay, so you guys have to avoid, uh, you guys have to avoid those things that And I've said the food and drinks you consume can help to keep your blood glucose levels in the target range your doctor advised you of. So when your doctor asks you to keep, you have this is the type of food you have to eat, and this is the type of food to avoid. There are some those certain food that he recommended for you, okay? You have to stick to those food. And those food he wants you to stay away from, you stay away from them. Okay? You stay away from them. Those food that he wants you to stay away from them, you stay away from them. Okay? Okay, so these are the things. So let's go into what are the best food for diabetics. Remember the name of the topic today is I'm going to discuss about the best and worst food for diabetics. So I'm going to be discussing on both sides. I'm going to give you guys the best and then the worst food for diabetics. So for you to know. So I'm going to be discussing both of them for you guys to know. So now, as I said before in my beginning of my intro, I say you can eat most food when living with pre-diabetics or diabetics, but some are particularly healthy. When you are pre-diabetics or you are a diabetics, not all food that you are going to consume. There are certain food that you can consume, and there are certain food that are not healthy for you. There are certain food that are going to trigger other chronic, conditions that you must avoid at all times. It's all about knowing the amount of carbohydrate that you take. Even if the labeling of the food that you want to eat says zero sugar, you also have to be cautious of the amount of carbohydrate in that food. So everything is all about narrowing down the carbohydrate content. Okay, and I've given you guys the difference between carbohydrate and then fiber. That is why once you are not diabetics, you don't hear anything about less carb, more fiber, because you have not, you have your pancreas are working, they are functioning properly, your blood sugars are regulated. But once you are a diabetics, that is when you're in tune. You start learning some languages that you're not aware of, like less carb, more fiber. And if you're wondering what does it mean by less carb, more fiber, you have to learn how to count your carbs. You don't know that you have to count your carbs because why? That because you are now in a new world. That is why it's a chronic long-term illnesses. You have to learn the languages of a diabetics. So anytime they say less carb, more fiber, you have to understand what they mean by less carb, more fiber. And when they say count your carbs, you know how to count your carbs? You will understand. Somebody that is not diabetic doesn't know what it means count your carbs. Because they're not diabetics. They are healthy, their pancreas is functioning properly. Then once you're diabetics, you start learning languages of diabetics, like other complications. Okay, things to avoid, things not to avoid, amount of drinks, how to portion your food. You don't eat all one food in one go. You have to portion them in portion, maybe 4 or 5 times in a day. Measuring your sugar level at an interval to know when your sugar levels are up or down, interpreting the symptoms of diabetes. These are some of the languages of diabetes. So if you're not diabetic, you don't understand those languages. Somebody that is not diabetic and you are discussing with somebody that is diabetic, you'll be confused because they don't understand the language you are using. So most foods, you can eat most food when living with pre-diabetics or diabetes, but there are some certain food in those food that are particularly healthy for you. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys the best food now that is good for diabetics. All right, I'm going to give you guys the best food now that is good for diabetics. All right, so let me remove this banner from here, and then I'm going to remove. So I'm going to give you guys the best food for diabetics. What are the best food for diabetics? One, okay, is you have to eat rich fiber food. As I was saying earlier on, if you're a diabetic, most of your food, most of your concentration, most of your money is going to be going on buying food that are rich in fiber. Okay? You have to eat food that are rich in fiber. So number one best food for those that have diabetes is you have to buy food that are rich in fiber. Why is consuming food that are rich in fiber? Remember, I told you guys there are different classifications of fiber. Okay, there are different classifications of um, okay, there are different. In one of my video, I did discuss about all types. There are different types of fiber, and there are different types. There's a common carbohydrate, okay, and there's the starchy carbohydrate. I did discuss that in one of my video, and I give you guys the difference you have to consume. Why most doctors ask you less fiber, more fiber. You see, most common carbohydrates are easily broken down. When you eat food that are rich in carbohydrate, your body can break them down. As soon as you are putting them inside your mouth, your body has also, it can be broken down very easily. And since we all know that carbohydrates, food, once we consume it, convert it into glucose again, that is going to affect our sugar level. So once you eat food that are high in carbohydrate, as soon as you eat them, your body can break them down easily, very, very fast, easily, without time, no wasting. And once they are breaking them down, they are not converting those carbohydrates into glucose and then dumping them into your bloodstream. And then it spikes up your sugar level. That is why the more you eat food that are rich in carbohydrate, is converting them into glucose immediately. Within a minute, you see that your sugar level has spiked up. Because more you eat carbohydrate, it's converting them and it's dumping the glucose into your bloodstream and it's sparking it up. And the next thing is start rushing into the washroom. That is carbohydrate. That's why they say eat less carbohydrate, more fiber. While the reverse is the case in terms of rich fiber food. Fiber food is very hard. Your body cannot break down fiber food easily. It is very tough for your body to metabolize or digest fiber food. It takes your body a long time to digest a small piece of fiber food. And because it takes a long time, it delays the process of spiking up your sugar level. So eventually, when fiber food are digested or metabolized, it doesn't spike up the sugar level. What it does that it digests them, and once it goes into your bloodstream, it mops up all the excess sugar that is in your bloodstream already, and then store them into your cells and livers and your muscle. You see the difference between the carbohydrate food and the fiber food. The fiber has no the carbohydrate food doesn't do anything. As you are eating, drinking, you are having drink that is high in fiber, carbohydrate, eating food that is too much in carbohydrate. As soon as you are eating them, it's combating it. Within a minute, your sugar level is up. And then you start wondering, why am I rushing to the washroom? Or you start experiencing some symptoms like blurred vision. Okay? Now, while fiber food, your body cannot break them that easily. It's very tough. And because it takes time, it delays the process of spiking up your sugar level. And if you're eventually, when your body breaks down those fiber food, when it goes into your bloodstream, it mops up those excess sugar that is in your bloodstream and then store them into your liver, into your cells, into your muscle, and keep them there for you, and then release them into your bloodstream when you need it. When you are lacking energy and you need some energy, it releases it back into your bloodstream, the amount that you need. So that is why they ask you guys to eat more fiber food and less carbohydrate. So number one best food is that when you are shopping for food that are rich, make sure you buy food that are rich in fiber. Consuming enough fiber can help you stay full for a longer period of time and avoid fatigue that comes from eating sugary food. So one thing is that when you eat fiber food, it's going to keep you filled up for a longer period of time and avoid you eating sugary things every time. Okay? Because you are filled up, so you're not going to be hungry or finding something to eat. All right? Many fiber-rich foods also have low GI index. You know what is the glycemic index? Okay? Glycemic index. Example include non-starchy vegetables, whole grain, and legumes. These are fiber food. There are classifications of fiber food. There are non-starchy vegetables. There are some vegetables that are rich in fiber. They are non-starchy. They don't stick. Okay? And then whole grains, and then legumes. These are examples of kinds of food that is supposed to be taken. All right. So let's say I'm gonna put, okay, so example of I'm gonna let me type it, let me put it on the screen for you guys so that you guys don't forget it. I want to non-starchy vegetables, whole grain legumes. What are ready? I'm trying to put diabetic. All right. So I'm gonna put this for you guys to see. All right. So this is what I just explained. This is an example of best for diabetics, rich fiber food, non-starchy vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. Okay. So this, okay, this is an example of best fiber for diabetics, rich fiber food, non-starchy vegetables, whole grain, and legumes. Okay. So this is, so number one is fiber that is rich, food that are rich in fiber. Okay, you have to consume enough fiber that can help you stay full for a longer period of time, and then to avoid eating sugary things at an interval. Okay, so those are one of it. So the second best food to look for, the second best food, okay, the second best food is you have to buy food that are rich in proteins. You have to buy food that are rich in proteins. You have to buy food that are rich in proteins. So number one food, the first food number one food that is best for diabetes is you have to buy food that are rich in fiber. The second food you have to buy is food that are rich in proteins. Eating lean proteins. Remember, I say lean proteins, not all protein. It has to be lean. Okay, don't go for whole proteins. You have to concentrate on lean proteins. So proteins that eating lean proteins can help you fill up. So why did they say lean proteins? As a diabetic, most the kinds of food you have to eat is the food that's going to keep you filled up for at least 2 hours or more. That's why they're being specific in the type of food you eat. There are certain food that you're just going to eat now. In the next 20, 30 minutes, you're hungry again. No, that is not good for you. That is why you have to concentrate and listen to the word very carefully. You have to eat lean protein food. And the first one I gave you was food that are rich in fiber. Look at it. If you look at the food that are rich in fiber and protein, they serve the same purpose. Fiber food keep you filled up for a longer period of time to avoid you eating sugary items at an interval. Then, if you go to protein food, if you eat lean protein foods, they help you get filled up again for a longer period of time and provide important muscle energies. You can eat all lean meat. Okay, the meat must be lean, not red meat. Avoid red meat. So you can eat all lean meat, okay, including lean beef, okay, lean beef, pork, and poultry, as well as fish and plant protein sources. Okay, so you can eat lean proteins. Okay, lean protein is going to help you fill up for a longer period of time, and also it's very important in muscle and provide you important muscle energy. Remember that you need your muscle to do a lot of activities. Okay, so eating lean protein is going to help you fill up and also provide the important muscle energy for you to do some activities during the day. You can eat lean meat, and I gave you the examples of lean meat, which is including lean beef, pork, and poultry, and as well as fish. Very important, and then some plant protein sources. These are very important. Okay, so let me need to. Okay, oh, first food. Rich protein. I'm trying to non-starchy. So what are the rich protein foods? The meat, protein, and beef, poultry, so as well as fish and is protein source. Okay, so now protein. Okay, rich proteins food lean meats, including lean beef, pork, poultry, as well as fish and plant-based protein source. So, number one, you got to eat food that are rich in fiber, and number two, you got to eat food that are rich in proteins. Okay, so this is okay. So let's go to number three. Okay, food. I'm giving you guys the best food for now for diabetics. So I said number one is you have to consume food that are rich in fiber, and number two, you have to consume food that are rich in proteins. Okay, so now the third one is fruit. Fruit is very important. Fruits are very, very important. Fruits are very, very important. Fruit provide many important vitamins and minerals along with antioxidant and fiber. Okay, we've talked about fruit several times. I've discussed our fruit with you guys several times. Okay, fruit provide many important vitamins and minerals along with antioxidant and fiber. Okay, they are a source of carbohydrate. Okay, some fruit also contain carbohydrates, so you have to limit the amount of food you consume in order not to eat in excess of amount of carbohydrate you need per day. That is also going to affect your sugar level. So they are a source of carbohydrate, but all fruit have a low to medium GI. You always have to take fruit or eat food that are low in GI, not high in GI, and can be part of your healthy eating plan. So we all know the type of fruit that I've mentioned to you guys that you can eat. Okay. Remember, fruits provide many important vitamin and minerals. Okay, along with antioxidant and fiber, and also they are a source of carbohydrate. So know that some fruit contain carbohydrate. So you have to know or limit the amount of fruit, that particular fruit that you consume. But all fruit have a low to medium GI, and that this can be part of your diabetic meal plan. So what are those fruits? I've told you guys about avocado. Okay, it's very good, rich in fiber, providing the minerals that you need, the vitamins that you need, and can keep you filled up for a longer period of time. We're talking about lemon. Lemon has a very powerful antioxidant that can help you to regulate your sugar level if your sugar levels are too high. You must have that. You must have lemon. You must have lemon in your cupboard. All right. Now we're talking about orange. Orange belong to a citrus family. Okay, together with lemon, they belong to a citrus family, and they are all superfood. Orange is a superfood that can fill you up for a longer period of time and provide you the amount of fiber that you need. It's well packed with fiber and vitamin C. So orange is very, very important in your collections to have it because it's packed with fiber, minerals, and vitamin C, especially that vitamin C that you need. So you need orange, grapefruit, avocado, lemon, lime, okay, uh, plantain, the green plantain, not the yellow plantain, okay. These are some of the fruits that you need. So these are some of the food that you need, okay. They provide you the vitamins, the minerals, along with the antioxidant and fiber that you need, okay. And at the same time, they are a source of carbohydrate, okay. And then they have a low to medium GI, and this could form part of your meal. You must have this. You must have this in your collections, okay. You must have this in your collections. So now I've mentioned fiber is one of the best food. Look for food that are rich in fiber. Two, look for food that are rich in protein. Three, look at food, fruits. Have fruits in your collections. They are some of the best fruit that you have that's going to help you get filled up. All the purpose of getting you filled up, provide you the nutrients, the vitamin, the minerals, and then also that muscle energy that you need. Now let's go to number 4, which is healthy fat. Okay, your body does need fat. That's why we have to shed some fat in order to reduce our weight. At the same time, our body needs some fat. So it's essential to include this in your diet. Okay, olive oil and avocado. I mentioned avocado a while ago. Okay, despite when they say you have too much fat in your body, you have to reduce it. Yes, if you have too much fat that in excess, if they're in excess, yes, then you have to reduce it. But if they are not in excess, then if they are not in excess, then Lena Ferras, you're welcome. Watching from Edges. How are you? All right. How are you, Lena? So if Okay, so this part we need to reduce some fat. At the same time, our body needs some fat. So it is essential to include it in your diet. Olive oil. From time to time, you have to use olive oil and avocado. These are examples of healthy fat. Avocado contains some oil in it. The oil in it is healthy. Olive oil is healthy. Vegetable oil. These are some of the examples of healthy fat. Not, some people used to cook food. They used to melt butter, margarine. They melt it in order for them to use to fry or cook. No, those are not healthy. Stay away from butter. Once in a while, yes, but it's not going to be consistent. All right, once in a while, yes, if you have no choice. But if you want to live healthy or look for those healthy fat, look for olive oil, vegetable oil, avocado. These are some of the examples of healthy fat. So I've given you guys best food for diabetics. One is get food that are rich in fiber, get food that are rich in proteins, especially concentrate on lean proteins, fruits, okay, healthy fat. So these are 4 best food for people with diabetes. Now let me go to the 5th one, which is unsweetened drinks. If you are going to drink any drink, look for drinks that are unsweetened. They don't have any added sugar in it or dietary sugar in it. Okay? If you are going to drink, okay, look for foods. Look for food that are unsweetened. There is no any added sugar in it. If you are going to look for food, look for food that have no. Look for food that has no any dietary or added sugar in it. So those drinks, make sure they are unsweetened. Okay, you don't have to stick to water. Okay, like I've given you guys soda water. Okay, those soda water, these are carbonated water. You can drink as much as you want. It's 000. It contains nothing. It's just carbonated. Those soda water, okay, yes, you can have that one. They are unsweetened. That is good for you. You can take as many as you want. All right, they are unsweetened. Now, somebody asked me about tonic water. In Africa, we have a lot of tonic water. But let me tell you guys something. Yes, tonic water is very bitter. Okay, but don't be fooled that because tonic water is bitter, it contains no sugar. It contains a lot of sugar in it. Because that tonic water, they process it to reduce the bitterness. If they leave it in the natural state, you can't drink it at all. If they leave it in the natural state, you can never drink it. But they process it and reduce the bitterness to a portion whereby you can drink it. So it contains some sugar. Get any tonic water and look at the nutrients, look at the content. You see that there is sugar, at least 30 grams or 40 grams of sugar in it. So despite that it's bitter, but it contains a lot of sugar in it. So stay away from tonic water. Instead, go for soda water. Soda water is carbonated. They are unsweetened. You can drink as many as you want. It doesn't affect your sugar level at all. So you don't have to stick to water if you are pre-diabetes or diabetes. You can drink tea or coffee. So it's either you drink carbonated water like soda water, or you drink tea. And I've given you guys the type of teas to drink, like your green tea, your cinnamon tea, your garlic tea, your what do you call it? Your lemon tea, your apple cider tea. So there are varieties of tea that you can take. Your turmeric teas. Okay, there are varieties of tea that you can take. And those type of teas, you don't add no milk, you don't add no sugar, you don't add no any sweetener. You drink it the way it is because the antioxidant in them is going to help you to regulate your sugar levels. Okay, so tea and coffee. Coffee, okay, make sure you take decaffeinated coffee. Make sure you don't drink the raw coffee because of the caffeine in them. Make sure it's decaffeinated. And then don't make drinking coffee constantly. There are people that can take coffee, it affects their sugar level because of the carbohydrate that is in it. And there are people that take coffee, it doesn't affect their sugar level. But if you have to take coffee, make sure it's decaffeinated, not the real coffee that has sugar in them. Okay? So you have to make sure you know what you are doing. Okay? So unsweetened drinks. Okay, you don't have to stick to water. If you're diabetics or pre-diabetics, you can drink tea or coffee. It doesn't contain sugar. Okay, coffee can be linked to several health benefits, including reduced risk of diabetes. Okay, so so you have to make a choice. Okay, and have a collections of tea in your place. Okay, always up to a plain coffee or espresso or a low sugar flavoring to help keep your blood sugar level within the target range and prevent weight gain. So if you're in a situation where they don't have tea, it's only coffee, then make sure you opt for a plain coffee, that is decaffeinated, that doesn't contain coffee. Okay, if you have no choice, because you have to be conscious of the amount of coffee that you take. You can also drink flavored, unsweetened sparkling water or sugar-free beverages. That's why I mentioned about those soda water that is carbonated. You can drink it as much as you want. So let me restart again what I said. I've given you guys at least 6 best food, or give you an idea the kinds of food that you should get as a diabetic. I say make sure the food, number one is the food must be rich in fiber. Two, the food must be rich in protein, the lean proteins. Three, fruits. Four, healthy fat. I'll give you guys example of healthy fat, like olive oil, avocado oil, vegetable oils. Those, those are kinds of oils. They are healthy fat. Despite you need to shed some fat, but your body still needs some fat. And that is why you have to concentrate like olive oil, avocado, or vegetable oil. Okay. Now, on sweetened drinks, I've given you guys, stay away from drinks that are sweetened. Make sure you get drinks that are unsweetened drinks. Tea, coffee, some flavored drinks, carbonated drinks. Okay. So those are the type of uh, drinks that you have to take. Now, I've given you guys 6 foods, okay, that you need as a diabetic. I'm going to share with you guys. I'm going to give you an example of. Let me share with you guys this so that you guys know example of what I'm talking about. I'm going to share this plate with you guys. Okay, so if you look at this, food here now, okay, if you look at it, all right. So this example of as a diabetic, this is how your food should look like. Look at the combination of food here. We have our vegetables there, okay. I could see our onions there. I could see our broccoli there. I could see our fish there. This is how your plate should look like if you're a diabetic. This is how your plate should look like if you're a diabetic. Okay, so you must eat healthy. You must eat healthy. Now, let me go to. I'm going to pull out this plate now. I'm going to show you guys how a diabetic plate is supposed to look like. Okay, this I'm going to show you guys how a diabetic plate is supposed to look like. So this is how your plate is supposed to look like if you're diabetic. If you want to eat, this is going to keep you healthy. It's a healthy food eating. It's going to keep you healthy, help you fill up. If you're looking at the plate, you look so appetizing. Okay, this is going to keep your sugar level at the target range without affecting it. One, it is healthy. You don't need to worry about anything because you are eating healthy. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to remove this and I'm going to show you guys another one. Okay, let me. One more thing again. Okay. Please. If you have not subscribed to my channel, do so. Okay. If you have not subscribed to my channel, do so. Click at the subscribe button and subscribe and give me a thumbs up and then leave your comment and then share. Your comments give me more energy to produce more content for you guys in relation to diabetics. So I like seeing your comments coming in. If this is your first time and you've not subscribed, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Once you guys give me thumbs up, they help Facebook keep recommending the page to others. So you have to keep giving me thumbs up. All right? Keep giving me thumbs up. So if you've not subscribed to my page, kindly do so right away. Okay? Now, I'm going to share with you guys. Another plate for you to see what I'm talking about. This one, okay, let's go to another screen. And then let me see what is here. Let me see what is here. Let me see what is here. So this is another salad vegetable. This is a salad. Okay, it has a lot of spinach. You have your spinach. You have your tomato. You have your lime here. You have everything that is in here. This is healthy. This is rich in fiber. This is going to help you fill up. I could see some berries in there. I could see some beans in there. It has, this alone is packed with fiber. Okay? This is packed with fiber. And one thing you have to notice from the plate, look at the plate. You see the quantity? There is a reason why, you see, one thing you guys don't understand, there is a reason why when they are making this plate, they make it deep. You see, look at this circumference here. You see this, why do they make the plate and they make it a little bit deep here? They know, what you have to understand is they're telling you this is the quantity that you can eat. When you fill your plate and it's all over here, it's too much. When you fill your plate and it's all over here, it's too much. It has to remain within the inner cycle here. You see the inner cycle? You see how they serve it? This is a smaller quantity of salad. Then you can eat this one. This is going to keep you filled up for another 3 to 4 hours. Then you can take another portion again in another 4 hours. You don't need to eat a big bowl of food now. So you have to look at the quantity. See how small it is? This is packed with fiber. Okay, all the nutrient and vitamins that you need is in this salad. And this is what you need as a diabetic. Okay, this is what you need as a diabetic. Okay, this is what you need as a diabetic. So this is how your plate is. This is what it means eating healthy. This is what it means eating healthy. Now I'm going to go to the next plate again. I'm going to get this one out. And then I'm going to get this one and give you guys. So I'm going to get this one out and give you guys another one again. So let me share the final plate for you guys. How to serve your food. Okay. Now, this is, I've done this video in one of my videos before. So this is okay. This so this is how to eat healthy plate. If you're diabetic, this is how your food should be all the time. You can see this is your vision. On this picture here, look at the size of each segment. You have to look at the size of your plate, which is more bigger. You can see that vegetable is more bigger. You have to eat a lot of vegetables. So when you are serving your food, when you are dishing out your food, okay, your food's supposed to be this. Okay? Your food's supposed to be this. Your whole grain, which is your carbohydrate, okay, that contains some carbohydrates, supposed to be smaller. So, your whole grain, that contains carbohydrate, you have to be smaller. If you watch among all this, it is small. Vegetables is big, followed by healthy proteins. So you see, these two are bigger, okay, and followed by fruits. Now, followed by whole grain. Whole grain is a little bigger than this because this provided your body needs carbohydrate, energy. So see how where the carbohydrate is going to be. So this is whole grains like your oatmeals. This is the quantity you're going to eat, and then the fruit, and then you have your water. You have your healthy oil like your olive oil, avocado oil here, your vegetable oils here, and then it says stay active. So after you finish eating, you must make sure you balance it with staying active. Okay, you must make sure you stay active. All right, so this is how your plate is supposed to be when eating healthy. Okay, so now I'm gonna get out of this, and then we'll go back to what we were talking before. So now, what food should a diabetic avoid? Let's go. Well, what food should a diabetic avoid? Okay. Limiting certain foods and drinks may help you manage your condition and reduce your risk of complications. So you must know those kinds of food to avoid in managing your diabetes. Once you avoid those food that ask you to stay away from, that is the beginning of managing your diabetes and other complications. So number one food to avoid if you're a diabetic is avoid food with added sugar. There's difference between added sugar and dietary sugar. Okay, added sugar are most food you buy in the supermarket that comes in can are already processed. Those orange juice you buy in the shop are already processed. There are added sugar in them, except otherwise indicated no added sugar in them. So any food, any drink that has added sugar in them, you have to stay away from it because you are not helping yourself, you are worsening the situation. Okay, so you have to stay away from foods that has added sugar. Okay, limiting added sugar can help keep your blood glucose level in the target range. Okay, example include baked foods such as cakes, cookies, and pies. These are some of the examples of food that you have to avoid. Okay, so avoid food that has added sugar in them. Avoid drinks that have added sugar in them. Those orange juice you are seeing in the shelves, okay, they all have added sugar. So you have to stay away. Now, if you have to drink orange juice, there is a way to drink orange juice, those ones you buy in the shop. Excuse me, let me clean my face. It's getting... Okay. So if you have to drink orange juice, there is a way to drink orange juice. I'm going to show you guys, maybe in my next video, I'm going to show you guys the quantity of orange juice if you must drink orange juice. That is not going to affect your sugar level. Okay, not when you want to drink orange juice, you want to drink the whole can at once. No. So avoid food that has added sugar. That is number one. I'm talking about food you should avoid as a diabetic now. Number two, sugar sweetened beverages. Avoid beverages, drinks that have sugar in them or sweetened. Okay, you have to avoid sweetened drinks such as sodas, flavored coffee drinks, many energy drinks, fruit punch, lemonade, and other aids. Okay, we have lemonade, we have all kinds of aids in them. Coca-Cola, Fanta, all those are fall under soda. You have to avoid them. Okay, and some mixed drink. Okay, so and some mixed drink provide empty calories and offer no nutrients. Okay, most of drink, but there's some drinks that are mixed, they provide no nutrients. There is no health there's nothing you can get in them. Rather, it's going to cause you more harm. Okay, limiting this may help lower your glucose blood. It's going to lower your blood glucose, your blood fat, your blood fat, and chance of developing any fatty liver disease. Okay, I'm going to make a video on fatty liver disease for you guys to know. So number one is avoid food that have added sugar in them. Number two, avoid drinks or beverages that have been sweetened already. Okay. Then number three, avoid food with saturated fat. That is the bad fat. Remember, on the best food for diabetes, there is healthy fat. Now I'm discussing about the saturated fat. That is why I said you have to stop patronizing all these fast food joints. You can patronize fast food joint once in a while, but don't make it a habit that you must go to fast food joint, because those fast food joints, okay, they produce quantity, not quality. They don't care about your health. They are there to make profit, so they have to produce quality, not quantity. Okay, if you are in a country, that is regulated, there are some countries that regulate some fast food joints. Okay, there is they have amount of certain things they have to add in those foods. They have to follow the regulation, because from time to time they come for an inspection to check their foods to make sure they keep to the standard of the proteins or the things they want them to be in that food. So, but those that are in other countries that they don't have any regulation, you have to limit patronizing fast food joints, because they use saturated fat oils, and those saturated fat oils is going to clog up your heart rate and make you have bad cholesterol. Okay, remember, when your arteries are clogged in because of those saturated fat, that is when you start developing bad cholesterol. So you have to limit patronizing fat food joints. It is very important you limit patronizing fat food joints. Okay. Now, consuming saturated fat can increase your cholesterol levels and your chance of heart disease. Okay. Some food containing saturated fat are high fat meat and dairy products, poultry skin, and oils such as palm and coconut. Now, for those my friends that are in West Africa and some other West Africa and some other should I say Eastern Africa? But peculiarly, I'm going to base myself in West Africa. In West African countries, we have palm oil. You know those red palm oil? Most in West African countries, they use it to prepare food, their soup. Place, those red palm oil are killer. They are very potent. They are a killer. Yes, we use it in preparing our food, but stay away from it if you can. And if you have to use it, you have to use it wisely. Okay? Palm oil is very dangerous in terms of cholesterol. It is high in bad cholesterol. It contains bad cholesterol. The amount of bad cholesterol, it is too much. And that is why you see in Africa, most people die of heart attack or cholesterol, diabetes related issues. So if you can avoid palm oil or use it in limitation, not all the time. If there's any way you can do it without using palm oil, go ahead. But if you have to cook in and day, every week, every month, is with palm oil, it contains very potent bad cholesterol. And that can make you have heart disease. Okay. So if you can stay away from palm oil, coconut oil, then try as much as you can to stay away from, because those have bad saturated fat in them. The bad cholesterol in them, especially in palm oil, is too high, very potent. Okay, so I've given you guys food to avoid as a diabetic is number one, avoid food with added sugar. Number two, beverages that are sweetened. Number three, avoid food with saturated fat by limiting visiting all these fast food joints. Okay. And number four, alcohol. Alcohol. I made a video about alcohol and diabetics. Okay. I made a video about alcohol and diabetics. Recently I made a video about alcohol. Why you should stay alcohol and diabetes or medication doesn't go hand in hand. I made a video about it. So alcohol is going to have an impact in your management of diabetes and in the drugs that you take. Okay, so that is why you have to stay away from alcohol if you're diabetic or if you're taking medication. And that is why even if you are not even a diabetic, most of the time when you are taking medications or maybe you are ill, doctor is going to advise you while taking this medication, stop for a moment taking alcohol because it's going to interfere in those drugs that you are taking. So alcohol consumption recommend a limit of 1 drink per day for women and 2 drinks per day for men. If you are diabetics, you may want to limit or avoid alcohol consumptions as it may limit your liver ability to release glucose. Alcohol may also interfere with certain diabetes medications. Yes. Okay. There are some alcohol that is going to take, it's going to knock down your sugar level very low. And if you don't recognize it in time, it's going to send it into shock and cause a lot of damages to your organs. At the same time, it's going to interfere when and how your liver releases glucose. Okay, so at the same time, it's going to interfere in the medication, not to work effectively. So if you're diabetes, it's either you limit or totally avoid taking alcohol so that you can get a good positive effect in the management of your diabetes. So if you can avoid alcohol totally, that is good. Now, the last one is processed food. Avoid food that are processed. I've said it several times. If you're diabetic, avoid food that are processed. Processed food include food high in added sugar. Okay, refined grains. You guys know what is refined grains? It's carbohydrate. Okay, unhealthy fat. Okay, we're talking about saturated oils. Okay, preservative and salt. Some of the preservative, you don't know what kind of preservative they use, and they are also not good for your health. And then salt, and you guys know why they say limit the consumption of salt, or if you have to put salt, you have to be very careful the amount of salt you consume. All right, so that is why you have to stay away from processed food. Most of this processed food sell in the shop. They have a lot of preservative, added sugar in them, some unhealthy fat in them. So it contains everything. And that is why you don't make it as a habit eating processed food. Rather, go home, prepare your food very well. The food you prepare at home with your own time is well prepared. You know what you add in them. And then because you know your situation, so you know what to eat and what not to eat. You know what to add in the preparation of your food and what to stay away from. So when you go for this processed food, you are buying everything. All those things they ask you to stay away is what you are buying. And then you eat them, and then instead of getting more positive results, you're getting negative results. So you got to stay away from processed food. Okay? So that's why I'm going to be spend an hour here. I'm going to spend an hour here, and then because I have another topic I want to make today. Okay, about that topic is called diabetic coma. Okay, so I'm gonna make another video today. I'm gonna make another live video later on today on that. So my bottom line is that having diabetes or pre-diabetics does not necessarily mean you need to entirely avoid certain food or food groups. Yes. So even if you're diabetic, does not mean you have to entirely avoid all foods. Not all food you have to avoid. There are certain food you have to avoid, and there are certain food that you have to consume. Okay, but consuming less of certain type of food may help to support healthy blood glucose levels and glucose and reduce your risk of other chronic health conditions. So everything is about managing your diabetes very well. If you can manage it properly, you're going to live a normal life. Okay, if you can understand the language of diabetics, diabetics have language. If you are speaking to, if you have two diabetic individuals, they are diabetic, and they are speaking, they can understand the language, the terms being used. But somebody that is not diabetic and he or she is sitting there listening to your conversations will be lost because he doesn't understand what you guys are talking about because you are using some terms that belongs to diabetics. Okay, and that is why doctors have their own handwriting that nobody can understand what they write except you are a doctor or a pharmacist. If you are not trained in that field, that is why they made it that way that no, you can't just write a prescription in an English that everybody can interpret. Nobody's going to honor it. That is why doctors, pharmacists have their own language, their own handwritten language that they are the only one to understand. When they write you a prescription, they are the only one within themselves can understand what he or she is prescribing, or a pharmacist. But if you are not in that field, you can never understand what they write. The same thing applies to diabetics. Diabetics have languages, they have terms they discuss with. And if you're not diabetics and you're in the midst of diabetics and they talk, you're going to get lost. So, so despite you're diabetics or pre-diabetics, does not mean that that is the end of the world. No, you still have another second chance. And what is that second chance is you now have to learn the language, the terms, the regulation, the norms governing diabetics, and live according to those norms. Okay, you have to eat certain things and avoid certain things. Limiting in moderation is very important. Understanding and interpreting the language and the science of diabetes is very important. The more you can interpret any symptoms, the more you have an answer to your situation at that particular point in time. You don't need to panic. You don't need to rush to the hospital because you already understand the sign, you already understand the language, and you can interpret it and make some adjustment or changes. Okay, so that is why it is very important if you're a diabetes, belong to a diabetes group within your community and share ideas. It's very important. Okay, so if you need support related to your condition, you can contact a healthcare professional within your area or to a family or to a social worker. In addition, you can call in your doctor and discuss your situation. So it is very, very important, very, very important. No knowledge is lost if you are learning about diabetes, and if you're a diabetes, or if you're a caregiver, you have somebody in your family that is diabetes and you are the caregiver, any language that you gain, any knowledge that you gain is not lost. Okay? So, and that is why belonging to a group of diabetes community, it is very, very important that you learn. So, as I said, I'm going to have another topic in the next hour that I'm going to discuss with you guys. Okay, this is my first broadcast for today. Except I don't see. I've not seen any question. I've not seen any question. Let me check my YouTube and see if there are questions there. If you guys have any question, feel free to ask me any question before. And once more again, if you have not subscribed to my other channel, okay, Living with Diabetics, kindly do so. So there are videos that I'm dropping in that channel that is not on this channel, Managing Diabetics. So if you've not done that, go to Facebook and then search for Living with Diabetics, and then you can subscribe to my page on that. There are two different content on these two different pages. So if you want to learn more about diabetics, you can get some from here and also from the other page. Okay. All right. So once more again, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Like, share, comment, subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. Please you have not subscribed to my channel, kindly do so. Subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. I would like to read from you guys what do you guys think about and what other suggestions. No, every suggestion is welcome. Every comment is welcome. Every idea is welcome. All right. Every idea is welcome. And also do not forget to give me a thumbs up if you like the content that I'm sharing. Okay, if you like the content that I'm sharing, give me a thumbs up. Okay. So now, do we have any other question? Today is being a quiet day. Do we have any other question? Let us see if there's any other comments here. Let's see if there's any other question. No question. I'm waiting for more question. So where are we? Any question? Any more question? Let me see. Do we have any more question before I go? I need to prepare for the second. I need to prepare for the second broadcast. I'm going to have another broadcast today for another topic. Okay. What is going to happen is that this is the first broadcast for today. I'm going to have another broadcast in the next hour or so. I'm going to have another broadcast by 12 noon, which is about 5 to 6 p.m. in most of West African countries, Asia. So I'm going to be live again for the next broadcast. So I will see you guys then, and then I hope that you guys enjoy this video. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Do not forget to invite your friends and leave me a comment. Leave me a comment, and I'm going to respond to your questions at my earliest convenience. I hope to see you guys in my next video, and then I wish you guys a happy afternoon while I see you guys in a while. I'm going to post it now. My second video is going to be 12 noon, which is around 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. in most of West African countries. Before then, I'm going to respond to your questions. Keep sending me your questions, your comments, and I'm going to see you guys shortly. So there'll be another second live broadcast in the next 4 or 5 hours. I'm going to come back for another live broadcast, but I'm going to post it now on my page and let you guys know when I'm going to come back. So you guys, when I post the time, please check your local country to know what is the equivalent time from the US time. I'm on the US coast, so When I post the time, okay, when I post the time, check when I post the time, check in your local country what is going to be the local time. That's when I'm going to, so that you know when to come online. Okay, you know when to come online. So, as I said, I'm going to do another live video, 12 noon my time, which is going to be around 5 to 6 p.m. in most African countries. So the second live video is going to be 12 noon US time, which is going to be about 5 to 6 p.m. in most African countries, and then some Asian countries also. So so anytime I post my time, you have to Google or check to know what is going to be the local time in your area, so that you know when to come online. Okay, so today I've discussed about worst and best food for diabetics. For those that are coming late, when I post the video, then you guys can watch the video and learn more. I'm going to do another. My second live video is going to be on diabetes coma. There's something they call coma. When somebody is in coma, there's something they call diabetes coma. Okay, and I had 2 days ago. I had an experience with one of the patients. So I want to discuss it with you guys what is diabetes coma, so that you guys can learn one or two things from it. So I'm going to leave you guys here, and I'm going to see you guys in a while for the second video. I hope to see you guys then. Stay blessed, and then goodbye.